It seems as though every day more and more stuff comes out about this situation with CRIMSIX and Scump and how it all ended up working out, how they ended up splitting apart, and what happened with the formal conversation. When did Scump text formal? And also, CRIMSIX gives us a little bit of an idea as to what it was like being on that OpTic team towards the end. And there's a bunch of other stuff that he talks about. My name is Icon. Thank you guys so much for checking out another episode here of Esports Analysis. Just a real quick reminder, this weekend is the open beta for Black Ops Cold War on PS4. If you've pre-ordered, then you can play the 8th and the 9th. If you didn't pre-order, then it's open for everybody on PS4, the 10th and the 11th. So if you're on PS4, make sure you download that beta, give it a shot. If you're an Xbox or a PC player, then unfortunately you don't get it until the following week, and it's the same thing if you pre-order Xbox or PC, you get it on that Thursday and Friday, and if you didn't, then it's just open to everybody on that Saturday or Sunday. So just wanted to make sure that we went ahead and we threw that in there because we're now only 2 days away from that. I want to make sure everybody's playing it because I don't know, I seem to like it so far. But without further ado, let me roll this clip for you because I feel like there are some talking points in here that we really want to touch on. We really want to make sure that we're diagnosing and dissecting. So without further ado, here is CRIMSIX talking about all of that stuff that happened with Scump and at the end of Black Ops 4.
You get dropped.
Yeah.
And then you have this year where you fucking lead your team, you and your team lead each other, I guess, or whatever, to a championship. But let's talk about the beginning and how this all went to be, right? Because I have a fucking massive history of always keeping everybody that was on my team and been on my team close to me as much as I can forever, because I understand the power of being together after being together for so long.
Yeah.
So when this whole thing went down, the same thing happened with you that happened with Seth and Nadeshot when Seth went to Envy.
Yeah.
Right? I had somebody that wanted to leave me, who obviously was still my friend, and then I had Nadeshot who wanted to stay, and I was supposed to pick between the guy that wanted to stay and be an OpTic, or the guy that was good and wanted to fucking leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like my loyalty is going to be with those who want to stay, not the ones who want to leave.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with you, where you wanted to stay, I wanted you to stay, but then you had two dudes that ended up not even staying with the fucking team, that made a lot of the decisions that said, fuck it, we're going to go.
Yeah.
And then you have, obviously you have your own opinions of Seth in that whole scenario, and you can talk about that if you want.
I just think both of us are put in pretty hard positions. The moment, like, it's funny that, like, Seth boasts about, texting formal right after we lost. And it's funny that he, like, brags about it, because I was sitting there thinking, like, well, then why didn't you, like, let me know 2 months earlier?
Yeah.
Like, what the situation with Clay was completely different, but we literally, like, Stroh's like, dude, we got to tell him today. We got to let him know now. You know what I mean? And I mean, at the end of the day, like, I still talk with Clay.
Yeah.
And we got some cool stuff getting lined up. But, it sucks, but the whole thing that it's weird to me, it's like, dude, you waited 2 months, or I don't know if it was 2 months.
Well,
it was like a month.
I'm not going to defend Seth at all in this. I wanted to make sure that in this conversation I didn't defend him or anything. So a lot of the shit that he said was sort of like in rebuttal to the shit that you were saying. You know what I mean? So because look,
I mean, he obviously he doesn't want to look like the bad. No one wants to look like the bad guy in that situation.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that just like a phone call,
100%,
or something like that from him, then like basically saying, yo, I don't really want to play with you. That to me, I would have been like, yo, that sucks.
Yeah.
But I would have got off the phone and I would have started, like, you know what I mean? I would have started getting things going rather than, because it was literally on my fiance's birthday.
Yeah.
That you called me. And I mean, and I'm just trying to think, like it was late. It was super delayed. It was on my fiance's birthday, which literally, by the way, ruined her birthday that year. So that's another reason why I was pissed off about it. But yeah, I mean, and you know,
nobody told Dana to be born on that fucking day.
No one told her that. But you know what's funny is everyone talks about Black Ops 4 champs and all that stuff. And I don't think I've ever said this, but you remember like I was sick that day on Sunday.
Yeah.
And leading up to Sunday, I've played incredible. And I don't know what I ate, but I played like sick a lot. Like, you know that.
Yes.
At the final versus you guys, I was literally coughing up blood before we played you guys. And I've played under so many different conditions, but like stomach stuff is completely different.
Yeah.
Like because when you feel like you're going to throw up, you start cold sweating, you start like feeling, or you feel really hot.
Cold chills. Yeah.
And it's like what happened with the 100T when
Preston.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yes.
Prisa.
Yeah. So it was like I was feeling so bad that if we had a sub, I literally would have subbed myself out, and I would have said, if you win, you take the prize money. Yeah. And I was like, literally, it was that bad. But no one wants to talk about that. No. People just want to talk about KDs and stuff. But like knowing me, like that takes a lot to say. That I would have been like, yo, I feel fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I do not think I can play well today. Like sub me out. And that's like if we would have had that option, I probably would have taken that, because that's how bad I felt on that Sunday. Like and it was so weird to me. Like what happened, because I was just thinking like, dude, not today. And I barely ever throw up or feel sick in that regard. Like I used to have what's it called? Acid reflux?
Yeah.
Gastric reflux?
No, it's acid reflux.
Yeah, there's two different types.
Heartburn.
Well, it's
right? It causes heartburn.
Well, that's one of I never had heartburn, but I more have had like your stomach acid's too strong, and it comes up in your throat and literally burns your esophagus. Yeah. So I've never had like stomach problems at all. So that's why I was sitting there like, dude, did Clay just food poison me or something like that? Because we were playing him the next day. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
Had you eaten with him? Have you got?
Well, you know what's weird is I ate the same meals, same stuff, same breakfast. Yeah. Same. I wonder if it could have been the dinner, but either way, point is that you can play sick, but when you feel like you're gonna literally puke, like it's different. Yeah. But that day, I played bad. You know what I mean? No, well,
during Black Ops 4 you're talking about.
Yeah, during Black Ops. I think everyone played bad except for Seth. And I mean, that was like but it's funny that all the blame is like pinned on me for that shit, because it's like, dude, I legitimately, like, people looked at me and were like, dude, you're pale. Like, are you good? And I was like, no. I said yes, but I did not feel good that day. That day was terrible. But stomach stuff is completely different, dude. Yeah, 100%. Completely different.
Yeah, you can have a fever and you can still, you know, it's better, obviously, right, for dexterity. But it is those situations where you're doing the above and beyond shit, right? Like you're doing the study and you're doing this thing, like all that shit, all the play calling and all that, like that doesn't get heard by the fans. Therefore, it doesn't take into account that, you know, that's a set, you know, like if you say I'm gonna peak middle, and if you die and you put your team at a deficit of 1, but you're able to give them all of the information in the world so they can win the round, that never gets taken into account. All people say is like, oh, this motherfucker got first blooded again. Yeah,
like the whole.
I have the Pristini last, like the fucking round 11 in my head in that scenario.
Yeah, it's it's funny. Looking back, I remember I messaged Brandon about this. Last year, when everyone's, you know, roasting me about can't gun Octane. Yeah. Can't gun Slasher, right? I'm sitting here like thinking, dude, those are two of the best ICRs in the game. Yeah. Arguably but they're on the same team. Mm-hmm. Our team doesn't even have a second ICR. And I'm sitting here thinking like the comms. What I was saying was, yo, I need a second ICR. Like, someone please help me out and do it. The comms should have been, like, even from my standpoint, should have been, yo, let's pull out 3 ICRs. Mm-hmm. Like, outnumber them. Yeah. Because the other players aren't so much of a threat as those two are. And but back then the problem on the team was, even if I did say that, it would be no, how about you just shoot straighter? How about you suck less?
On what team was that?
The Black Ops 4 team.
Dashi, TJ. Those are 5.
Yeah. That's what the comms would have been. Or even if I said that, it would have been, no, just don't get gunned.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, dude, how am I supposed to 1v2 players who are like incredible at their role?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there you have it, guys. A couple things that I want to talk about. The first of which is that this has come up time and time again. It also came up on a previous podcast that CRIMSIX did with Nameless, where basically CRIMSIX just talks about how poorly he was treated overall, right? Seems like a lot of people weren't really paying attention to what he had to say, even though he was probably right in diagnosing what the team needed. So, for example, when he's talking about in that matchup against 100 Thieves, there's no way that he could have had the best day of his life. He could not have outgunned those 2 main ARs in Slasher and Octane from 100 Thieves. It just wasn't happening, right? It's not happening. So, perhaps if they would have been more open to listening to him, that could have been a little bit of a different result down the end, towards the end of Black Ops 4. The other thing that I want to mention, and I feel like Crim is often the scapegoat for this, is that on that Friday on that championship Sunday of the Black Ops 4 Champs tournament, he just wasn't feeling great. And he talks about this, and this is really the first time that he opened up about it, because Scump had a fantastic Sunday. Scump absolutely slayed out on that championship Sunday. But other than that, CRIMSIX played phenomenally the entire tournament. Yes, there were different times throughout the course of the Black Ops 4 year where CRIMSIX might not have had the best showings, but when it came down to that championship Sunday, of course, he wasn't feeling great. But before that, the entire weekend, he was playing like a man on a mission. And I don't know what happened. He seems like it might have been food poisoning or whatever. And it's just unfortunate because he had such a good tournament. Who knows what would have been today had he played well. And I don't know, just talking about the loyalty issues, it kind of stinks that, CRIMSIX held on when he had all those different offers at the end of World War II, when Scump really didn't have, it was his worst year overall. When Scump had that terrible year in World War II, CRIMSIX was loyal. He stuck with him. And it just kind of stinks that it wasn't reciprocated that way. Now, I'm sure if you were to interview Scump about this, he would probably have his own side of the story. But it just seems like more and more stuff is coming out every day. And I don't know, this is what's so appealing about the Call of Duty scene, is that these guys all have their own side of the story, and it's interesting to see all the different dynamics, all the different conversations, how one person ends up taking a situation and how they end up with a different team and being let go and stuff like that. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think about this one? Do you agree with Crim? Can you kind of see where he's coming from? Do you maybe have differing opinions? Do you think maybe he should have gone about things a little bit differently? Let me know down in the comments below. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I bring out brand new videos every single day breaking down competitive Call of Duty. Leave a like, it helps out the channel. With that, guys, thank you so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.